145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Protect mom's assets. Protect your assets. Call Kraus Estate Planning, estateplanningpeople.com.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It is 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, December 27th. Your top story, lewd text alleged between a former teacher's aide and a local student.
I'm Adam Roberts. Crash victims identified in Kohler.
Looking at your forecast today, a little bit of drizzle. More rain becoming likely as the day goes on. High of 47. Tonight, rain is likely as well. Breezy otherwise. We'll dip down to 44. Tomorrow, mild. A slight chance for rain in the early hours. Mostly cloudy otherwise. A high of 50. It's currently 47 degrees in Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a former Milwaukee teacher's aide is accused of multiple sex crimes involving a former student. Prosecutors say 41-year-old Jason Holder sent lewd text messages to a then 15-year-old while he was a teacher's aide at Carmen High School. According to court documents, the text exchanges included sexual dialogue and references to smoking THC together. Prosecutors say the exchanges happened between July and August. Court records show Holder was not employed at the school when the alleged acts were committed. He faces 6 felony counts.
The victims of a deadly crash in the village of Kohler Saturday are now being identified as Stephen and Linda Larson of Sheboygan, as well as Curtis Britkin of Sheboygan Falls. All 3 of them died in the crash on Lower Falls Road Saturday near I-43. Kohler police are saying speed does appear to be a factor in that crash.
Growing speculation today that Russia is responsible for a massive plane crash. The latest from CBS's Cammie McCormick.
The U.S. has offered assistance in the investigation and says early indications are it could have been caused by Russian air defense systems. But Russia's aviation chief now says a Ukrainian drone attack was underway in the region where the plane was headed. It diverted and then crashed in Kazakhstan. Officials in Azerbaijan have said it diverted due to bad weather.
At least 38 people died in that crash.
Back-to-back illnesses spreading across southeast Wisconsin this holiday season. Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County Dr. Ben Weston says some viruses can gang up on your immune system.
When you have all these different things going around, you can certainly get that kind of a double whammy where you are feeling crummy, your immune system is kind of knocked down already, and then another thing comes into your household. And so that very well may be what you have. Now, some of these things can go both directions. You can get the cold symptoms as well as the GI symptoms mixed with one awful virus.
Dr. Weston says when it comes to the cold, the best prevention remains washing hands and covering your mouth.
Cases of whooping cough in the U.S. are the highest they've been in a decade. And Wisconsin continues to see some of the worst numbers in the country. As of December 14th, the U.S. had logged more than 32,000 cases of whooping cough, according to the CDC. In Wisconsin, the highly contagious bacterial infection has been spiking since the summer. According to the latest CDC data, Wisconsin continues to see the 3rd worst outbreak in the entire country.
Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. And it has not been a great Friday for the majors, all in the red. The Dow down 496 points this hour at 42,829. The Nasdaq off 427 at 19,593. And the S&P 500 back down below 6,000 points at 5,943. That's a loss of 1.5%, down 95 points. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
A sickness sweeping through the Bucks locker room as well. So how are they doing right now? Let's check in next. Sports, traffic, and weather right after this. Sounding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:04.
Staggering inflation continues to affect so many families. Yet the Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford is more affordable than ever. It's a holiday Fish Fry Friday. It's all you can eat and just $7.99. Do not pay $16 or more. Your Mind Chef Fish Fry is $7.99. The mine shaft is decorated with holiday lights, decorations, and Christmas characters. Your kids will love it, and the world-class game room. After a long week, relax with a cold brew, a delicious old-fashioned or glass of wine for a perfect fish fry. Desserts are buy one, get one free. Your Saturday steak dinner is under $20. The all-you-can-eat Sunday brunch under $18. The mine shaft is in festive downtown Hartford with lots of seating. The low prices and holiday decorations will make you happy. They urge you to visit the mine shaft today for the all-you-can-eat fish fry, just $7.99. Serving from 11 a.m. Arrive early. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. God's promise is fulfilled. Archbishop Listecki here. God has seen fit to bless us with the gift of his Son. Emmanuel, God is with us. This is an incredible gift of God's love for us. But like all gifts, it needs to be opened and shared. Through his Son, we are joined together as one family in the common bond of God's love. Blessings to all for a Merry Christmas. Join us at Mass.
Katie, Inspired Closets got another 5-star review.
That's great to hear, Dan. Another client saved from builder-grade wire shelving.
Plus, Inspired Closets was able to double their storage space, their closet, entryway, and pantry,
which calmed the chaos in their home.
Find what you're looking for and find it faster.
Don't wait any longer. Double your existing storage today.
Inspired Closets will calm your chaos. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
A wife and husband team.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Bucks very short-handed as illness spreads through the team, falling to the Nets 111-105 at Fiserv Forum. Some questionable clock management towards the end of the contest for Milwaukee. They're off tonight before they head to the United Center Saturday for a tilt with the Bulls. The Packers are officially headed to the playoffs, and the goal now is to secure the best seed possible. ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher says the Packers entering Sunday's contest against the Vikings should be fully confident they'll leave the Twin Cities with a win.
You definitely don't want to be the 7, and I think, everybody was kind of talking about, the psychological part of beating Minnesota. I'm going to tell you right now, Green Bay is going to feel confident. Whether or not it's going to be false confidence or real confidence, they feel like they're as good of a team as anybody in the NFC, but sometimes you don't need to take the toughest path.
Green Bay game day coverage kicks off at noon Sunday right here on WTMJ.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We're not doing too bad. A couple disabled vehicles out in the system that really aren't causing problems, but I do have one crash I want to let you know about in the West Dallas area. 41 894 South, right around Greenfield Avenue. Left shoulder is blocked due to a crash. I was taking a look at the video. I can see from one of the cameras just a little bit of it. It's in one of those spots that's kind of between cameras. But I can tell that a tow truck has pulled up. So once the tow truck is there, it's usually a good sign that this is going to clear quickly. So hopefully that's out of here soon.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
Buy a $100 gift card from the historic Fox and Hounds restaurant. Get a $20 gift card absolutely free. What a deal. Order online at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. That earlier dense fog advisory has now since been canceled. It was expected to run till noon. That is now over. We will see some rain start to move through, already moving right around near the Wisconsin-Illinois border and working its way due north towards Milwaukee. High today around 48. That rain will continue tonight down to 44. Rain chances then early Saturday, a high of 50. Clouds Sunday 44, 43 cloudy on Monday. Slight chance for a rain-snow mix on Tuesday, cooler and a high of 39. Right now it's cloudy with rain on the way and 45 in Milwaukee at 11:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life.
Happy Friday, everybody. Jessica Tighe with reporter extraordinaire Adam Roberts today. Do you like that I've dubbed you that?
I think you're the only one that calls me it, so it's special. I know when I sit down in this seat and I do midday news with you that I'm going to get an affirmation to start the day.
I love it, and it's so true. So we appreciate you filling in while Greg has the week off to spend some much-needed time with family for the holidays. Happy Friday to all of you. We hope you had a wonderful holiday, and right around the corner here, we've got New Year's as well. It's these 2 weeks are weird because you had Christmas on a Wednesday, and now, boom, We're going to have New Year's coming right up.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. I cannot stand when Christmas is on a Wednesday because it's just weirdly in the middle of the week, and it's almost like you have week block A and week block B, and then a weekend, and then New Year's. Let's just get to the end of next week and start the year on the 6th or whatever that Monday is.
But guess what? Despite it all, the news never stops.
Now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, another Delta stowaway.
This has got to stop because there is a very definite security risk in having people get aboard without a ticket.
This is the second incident on a Delta flight. This time it happened in the middle of the holiday rush at Seattle-Tacoma Airport. ABC transportation correspondent Gio Benitez explains what happened this time.
The flight taxiing for takeoff when it suddenly returned to the gate after the crew learned of an unticketed passenger on board. This incident happening within weeks of a woman being arrested for stowing away on another Delta flight from New York to Paris.
People have gotten on not only by getting through TSA without the proper credentials, but also getting on the airplane. Twice is too much.
Delta saying in a statement its employees followed procedures to have an unticketed passenger removed from the flight and apprehended.
Aviation analyst John Nance says these incidents should be a wake-up call that these procedures need to be taken seriously by airline officials.
These procedures have to be airtight, 100% perfect. And now, because people have gotten on not only by getting through TSA without the proper credentials, but also getting on the airplane, this has to be a major focus. Twice is too much.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I saw again. These kinds of situations, they don't happen often, but there's worry when you have 2 high-profile incidents occur just a few weeks apart.
And it is also important to know that TSA agents and everyone who works at an airport, they're just as stressed as you are during the holidays with all the masses of people coming in and out, but it's got to be airtight. It just has to be at airports.
Still have a job to do, yeah.
Number 2, from one plane issue to another. New evidence in a plane crash in Kazakhstan. A U.S. official now saying early indications show a plane that crashed in the Central Asian nation may have been shot down by a Russian surface-to-air missile. 38 of the 68 people on board the Azerbaijan Airlines flight were killed. The black boxes from that plane have now been recovered. ABC's Inez de la Catera.
Certainly there are lots of indicators to point towards a shoot-down of that aircraft.
Andrew Nicholson runs Osprey, a company that advises carriers flying in the region. He pointed to photos of the plane's wreckage that appear to show what he says is damage consistent with surface-to-air fire.
There are no scuffs or bumps or dents that would also indicate, aircraft or birds hitting the aircraft fuselage, and also the direction of the shrapnel, which looks like it's coming from below.
But the Kremlin urging the public to wait for the results of the investigation.
A commission has now been created to investigate that crash. That commission will include representatives from Russia, the airline, and from Kazakhstan. And the Kremlin, meanwhile, refuses to comment much on the crash at all.
Number 3, bird flu in cats. Health officials are now warning pet owners not to give their cats raw food after a house cat in Oregon died of bird flu. The illness later traced to frozen cat food Northwest Naturals that contained raw turkey. The brand has been recalled, but many vets say the problem is not contained within one brand.
We do have many reports of cats acquiring bird flu, predominantly from raw food sources. So this goes with raw milk as well as raw meats.
Okay, so if you're a cat owner, some clinical signs to look for: loss of appetite, lethargy, your cat's tired, fever, severe depression, runny nose, some gunk in the eyes, and really any respiratory or neurological signs.
It kind of runs the whole plate there, too. I think of cats as just being generally lethargic and kind of lying around. That's kind of what they do. So trying to check through all these things. And it makes you think, too, as even if you don't own a cat, I mean, a lot of dog foods also have some of these raw chickens and turkeys. And so you start to wonder, okay, how is this going to snowball now? I remember we had an issue with, there was a disease going through dogs when they were breathing in and were getting lethargically sick a while back. I don't know if that ever got solved or was ever pointed to, so certainly concerning if you're a pet owner now.
Yeah, talking about house cats, and I know that there are some wildlife sanctuaries across the country that are dealing with this as well with their larger cats. But to your point, it does make you wonder, could this be impacting dogs next? Right now, though, we're worried about the cats, so we'll see with that. Stay close. Sonny Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:14. Coming up next, it's your everyday hero.
When we're out in your town, come say hi to us as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're out on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be, you can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time AccuNet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan costs $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick AccuNet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus.
Your stores are employee-free?
Yes, sir.
Why?
To save you money.
How much money?
Our 40 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393.
That's pretty good.
Plus, through Monday, purchase a select Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect sleeper in any size, and Hasselus will give you a free adjustable base, free next-day delivery, and free financing is available too.
I like the way you do business.
Get all the details and find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
But we're keeping our eye on the radar this morning. Got the rain starting to move up from the Wisconsin-Illinois border, impacting Walworth and Kenosha counties right now, and then those outer bands just starting to work their way towards Milwaukee. Not sure how much of it there is falling to the ground now, but definitely by this afternoon and evening, that will change. We're expecting rain all afternoon, a high today of 47, rain continuing tonight, breezy as well down to 44, mild for your Saturday then with early rain chances and a high of 50. Right now, clouds, a little bit of light drizzle, and 45 in Milwaukee at 11:16.
It's time to recognize another everyday hero. Here's WTMJ's Eric Bilstad.
Wisconsin's Morning News identifies an everyday hero as an average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life. Today we head to Mesa, Arizona, where Thomas Conley, an 8-year-old third grader, was at school eating lunch in the cafeteria with his buddy Isaiah.
I was just doodling in my notebook, and then I just heard Isaiah crying, and I was just like, what's wrong? And I realized he was choking.
Isaiah had eaten a grape, and it got stuck in his throat, and he was starting to panic.
I was terrified.
Isaiah tells Mesa TV that Thomas grabbed the back of his shirt, pulled him over, and then took care of the rest.
He saw me standing over my and right here, and he just pulled me down and did the Heimlich.
And it worked. Thomas had saved the day. Isaiah was okay. Isaiah's mother says Thomas is a hero.
I was super grateful, and I wanted him to know how proud I was of him and how thankful I was for him. Him and my son have been friends for a long time, and they just happened to be sitting together that day.
The Mesa Fire Department honored Thomas for what he did. Thomas says you should never be afraid to help others. That's sage advice from a hero third grader. Thank you, Thomas, for being an everyday hero. Everyday Hero is sponsored by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care. Eric Bilstad, WTMJ News.
There is surveillance video of Thomas saving his friend's life. You can text the word HERO to the WTMJ Tonkin text line, and you can see the link. Once again, text the word HERO to 855-616-1620. You can see that surveillance video of Thomas saving his friend's life. Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:19. Coming up next, we're going to check in with our friends over at TMJ4 and look ahead to the weekend weather. And not just the weekend, we're also looking ahead to New Year's. We'll find out what Mother Nature has in store.
Helping people and families seriously injured in accidents and standing up for victims to take the burden off your shoulders. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Gruber Law Offices. Let them focus on the legal aspect while you focus on healing. No fee, no cost to call, no cost to consult and retain their firm. In fact, never a fee until they win your case. It's locally known and nationally recognized Gruber Law Offices. Visit gruber-law.com or call 414-276-6666.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at wipga.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Numbness, tingling in the hands, arms, legs, feet. Time to go see Dr. Alex Young and my team at Connect Chiropractic. Regular chiropractic care can bring life-changing results for folks who suffer from neuropathy and fibromyalgia, nervous system issues that can be corrected, and no worries about twisting, cracking, or popping. The docs at Connect Chiro use all the same method, a special tool that is pain-free and effective for your adjustments. Visit them in Delafield and Wauwatosa or get started online at GoConnectChiro.com.
It is 11:21 on your Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to Wisconsin's Midday News. Have we escaped the fog? Woo! Yesterday and this morning.
Oh, it was so thick. I was doing traffic on the morning show. Every one of our cameras we usually monitor the roads on, I could not see a single thing. I don't know how anyone driving could either.
Yeah, we were just stuck in that fog for a while. Let's check in with Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore on this Friday. Are we out of this fog? Happy Friday to you, Tyler.
Happy Friday. I think we're kind of out of the woods for that dense fog. It feels like we were stuck in it for like a day or two, whereas like, is it still foggy? And every hour you look outside, it stayed foggy all day yesterday. So yeah, we're done. And one thing that helps is a lot of that snowpack that we had has melted away. So a lot of that fog was because that snow was so cold and you had air temperatures and moisture in the air that would condense down at the surface because of those colder temperatures on the ground.
Okay, so we're done with the fog, but I see rain in the forecast. What do we anticipate there? How much? Who's going to get it? When?
Yeah, well, we're all going to get it. That's for sure. We have a band starting to move in right now from Illinois, and this is just like a teaser kind of what we're going to have for the rest of the day and into tonight. So we'll see bands of rain showers lifting north out of Illinois as the low pressure passes just west of Madison. That will keep rain in the forecast most of this afternoon and into this evening. It really won't start to wrap up until around midnight tonight, early morning hours tomorrow. So we got about 12 hours at least with some rain showers heading through. They're not going to be heavy. It'll be more light rain, kind of a misty drizzle at times too in between some of those showers. But we'll pick up about a quarter to a half inch of rainfall. So it's going to be pretty sloppy and soaking wet out there for the rest of the day.
So Tyler, do we have to dust off the flood forecast because you combine the snow melt with the amount of rain that we're going to be getting? I mean, maybe not necessarily, your larger rivers overflowing or anything, but do we have to worry about maybe small creeks in people's backyards and, God forbid, some wet basements around New Year's Eve?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have to watch the depth of the frost layer right now. I know it's just surface right now that's kind of thawed out, so you can get more runoff even with lighter rain events like this just because that water can't seep in deep into the soil. So it's definitely something to watch. I think most rivers, most banks will be just fine. We are actually still in a little bit of a drought situation across southeastern Wisconsin, so some additional moisture is not bad compared to what you normally should pick up for the year. So we should be okay on that front, but obviously we'll have to watch it. Another good news is that most rivers don't seem like they have a lot of ice on it, so it doesn't look like we have a threat for any ice damming either. So flooding threat looks minimal with this, just going to be kind of a damp and dreary day.
All right, as we look ahead, we're past Christmas now, but we've got New Year's Eve coming up on Tuesday. We know a lot of people in southeastern Wisconsin and across the state like to go out, maybe for a nice dinner. Maybe they're going out earlier to take the kids to one of those noon celebrations instead of midnight. What can we expect for New Year's Eve?
Yeah, it's not looking too bad. We'll get colder by then. So the mild weather really lasts through about Monday, Tuesday. And then there's going to be a system that passes down to our south for New Year's Eve. We'll have to watch how close it can get. Right now, models have been trending south, so that would keep Tuesday mainly dry and most of the moisture down into Illinois. We'll have to watch if it drifts back north. But there will be some colder air moving in for New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. We'll probably see our temperatures back down closer to average. I will say, though, early on in the new year, it does look like we're going to see a longer stretch of some colder temperatures. So be prepared for 2025 to start off with probably some heavier jackets in the forecast.
Oh, okay. Well, it is winter at this point. I mean, it can be expected.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're at that point now where those cold snaps normally come in. I can remember some pretty cold New Year's, so this one doesn't look too bad with Wednesday temperatures in the lower 30s. I got a question for you guys, though. Since we're closing out 2024, is there a weather event that you guys will remember the most from this year?
I don't know if there's one in particular, but I feel like the tornadoes. We had so many tornadoes in Wisconsin this year.
Yeah, that's high on my list, too. The first February tornado. The other one I could think of that a lot of people were saying was that January snowstorm from this year. If you remember that one and all the power outages that came with that. Obviously, that was way early in the year, but that was a big one that people were talking about, too.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, January of last year. That feels like a decade ago.
You know, I will say one of the weather events, it's not necessarily a singular event, but you kind of alluded to it, Tyler, and it's this drought that we've been in. It's not just for this year, but it really feels like the last couple of summers we've been really jonesing for rain, and we just haven't got it. I'm hoping it's not indicative of the future, but that's something that really stood out to me, especially during the summer months.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a pattern we've seen recently is kind of that warm and drier summers and even into early fall. So hopefully you're right. Hopefully it doesn't last too long and we can kind of curve that correction. I mean, it was a wet spring, but then it was like the faucet turned off in the summer once again. So hopefully we can be a little more steady with our rainfall for next year.
Yeah, and when I just think of weather and the changes, the thing that really sticks out in my mind is just how it seems to be staying warmer longer in Wisconsin. So our winters, it just feels like everything has shifted. November, you can have some spectacular days now, and then May, who knows what's coming in May with Mother Nature here.
Yeah, I'm really hoping we have a little bit of an easier spring than some of the last couple of years. It does feel like it's almost like the season shifted back a month, right? Like, yeah, even this December hasn't really been too bad. We've had a couple inches of snow. We're still below average, but last year we only had a trace of snow for all of December. So it seems like Mother Nature's taking its time getting winter going.
Hey, Tyler, I'm kind of curious just because we've had illness sweeping through over here. I know Bucks have it sweeping through the locker room. How are you guys doing over at TMJ4?
Yeah, it actually seems like we're okay so far until I guess the infection kind of spreads throughout the newsroom here. But yeah, I think we're hanging up okay. I guess it is that time of year. But knock on wood here in the Weather Center, we've had no illnesses pass through just yet.
Okay, knocking. We are knocking for you.
I will tell you this, Tyler. We may be over to Radio City to raid the medicine cabinet to grab some stuff. We're going through it a little bit over here.
Oh, man. Good to hear. All right, are we talking to you on Monday too, Tyler, or is Brandon back in?
I think it'll be me for Monday, so we'll talk to you after the weekend.
Okay, sounds good. Have a fabulous weekend. Happy Friday to you.
You too. Happy Friday.
Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:27. Coming up next, it's your top local news.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know, accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
I haven't had anything to eat for days, and being hungry hurts.
Going without oil changes can destroy your engine, but it doesn't compare to the effect of going without food. That's why the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee is determined to make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Through March 1st, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has donated over $890,000, providing more than 2.6 million meals to people across southeast Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. And with today's ongoing challenges, the need is greater than ever. So help the hungry while helping your vehicle. Get your oil changed by Adam Dealer Factory Train Techs at a price as low or lower than independent shops. Visit an Adam member dealer near you.
For a list of participating dealers, visit adamm.com.
It is 11:30. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, December 27th. Your top story, an update to a deadly Christmas Day shooting.
I'm Adam Roberts. How many Oconomowocs is too many?
Looking at your forecast here, we had that fog and drizzle early this morning. Rain becoming more likely as the day goes on. We have a high of 47. Tonight, rain is likely as well, breezy otherwise. Our temps will dip down to 44. Tomorrow, mild, a slight chance for rain early.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. A U.S. official saying a Russian anti-aircraft system may be responsible for the plane crash in Kazakhstan, killing 38 of the 67 people on board.
The black boxes have been recovered. A commission has been created to investigate the crash. That's going to include representatives from Russia, from Azerbaijan, from Kazakhstan. It might be a few days before we get an actual, definite conclusion here. But we have been speaking to some experts who do believe that that Russian anti-aircraft defense systems may be to blame here.
ABC's Ines Delicatera, Russian media reporting the plane was attacked by a Ukrainian drone. Another stowaway caught on a Delta flight, this time from Seattle to Hawaii, as it taxied for takeoff on Christmas Eve. Authorities say the individual passed through TSA screening but lacked a boarding pass. Mortgage rates ticking higher heading into the new year. The average 30-year fixed mortgage now up to 6.85%. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:31.
From the WTMJ breaking news room, we now know the identities of the 2 teenagers who died in a shooting on Christmas morning. 15-year-old Exiel Rivera died at the scene. 18-year-old Naya Vasquez died at the hospital. They were both inside a car when someone shot them near 37th and Scott in Milwaukee.
The town of Oconomowoc will soon be absorbed by the village of Lac La Belle. The village president there, Timothy Clark, says village leaders plan to resign from their positions so town leaders can lead the new community.
Our little village accounts for about 3% of the population and about 3% of the land. And so it only makes sense that the current town board chairman and his supervisors should run this combined municipality.
The consolidation will take full effect on January 1st.
Unprocessed absentee ballots in Madison. The City of Madison Clerk's Office discovered nearly 200 ballots from 3 wards were not counted for the 2024 election. When Clerk's Office personnel emptied out the tabulator bins, they found 1 sealed bag of nearly 70 unprocessed absentee ballots. Clerk's Office personnel then discovered a second set of ballots. Then they found 2 sealed absentee carrier envelopes containing more than 100 unprocessed absentee ballots. All impacted voters will be notified and sent an apology letter. The City of Madison says the number of uncounted ballots was not enough to impact the outcome of any race or referendum on the ballot.
With the Christmas holiday in the rearview mirror, if you didn't like a gift you got this year, you will likely be one alongside millions of consumers returning gifts. Salesforce Director of Consumer Insights, Kayla Schwartz, tells WTMJ Christmas gift returns are at an all-time high this year.
Before we even hit December 26th, returns are up 36% over last year. So retailers have already been dealing with a lot of returns, and it's about to get even worse because this next couple of days are going to be the peak for returns for the entire season.
Schwartz says retailers are encouraging consumers to process their return requests online rather than to bring the item into the store.
The City of Milwaukee wants your Christmas tree. The city's tree collection period runs through January 31st. The DPW says all ornaments should be removed from the tree before pickup. Plus, you want your ornaments, right? Don't leave those ornaments on the tree. Once picked up, the trees will be shredded and composted. To schedule a pickup, call the Department of Public Works and put your tree on the curb.
Sports traffic and weather are on the way next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
If you've ever worried about your heart, if you've ever loved someone with heart disease, if you've ever wondered if you're the one at risk, let's remind ourselves that we are not powerless. Because at the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, we're pushing to outsmart heart and vascular disease by working with you personally to understand your history, assess your risks, and guide you to heart strength. By digging deep with tireless research and offering access to leading-edge clinical trials. And for the most serious conditions, including heart failure, heart valve disease, arrhythmias, and vascular diseases, we provide renowned expertise and the most advanced life-saving procedures you expect from academic medicine. So let's get out in front of heart disease. Let's outsmart it. Let's keep pushing so that every one of us can outrun it and embrace every beautiful day life in Wisconsin has to offer. To learn more about our nationally renowned heart and vascular care, visit froedtert.com/heart.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Annex Wealth Management. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary. Forget commission sales pitches and financial products you don't need. Know the difference. Annex provides elite, comprehensive financial planning customized to who you are and what you need. AnnexWealth.com.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Giannis and Dame both out due to illness for the Bucks on Thursday night, and they came up just a bit short to the Brooklyn Nets, 111-105. Milwaukee, the day off today, and they'll take a trip down 994 to the United Center for the second time in a week to face the Bulls tomorrow. Packers and Vikings, meanwhile, finishing their preps for their Sunday afternoon tilt in the Twin Cities. With just 2 games left in the regular season, the Packers are aiming for a more comfortable playoff position. ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher tells WTMJ the easiest path for the Packers in the playoffs will be to secure that 5th seed.
You want to give yourself that opportunity to be a 5 seed. You want to give yourself that opportunity so you don't have to go and play the 2 best teams that have been in the NFC all season long on the road as part of your playoff journey.
Green Bay game day coverage begins at noon Sunday here on WTMJ. And in college football bowl action this afternoon, it's the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, Oklahoma with a 14-0 lead in the first over Navy.
Let's get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We do have a new crash in the Milwaukee area, I-43 north at 794 west. The right shoulder is blocked due to a crash. I do see that emergency responders have pulled up. We'll see how long it takes to clear that one. And we still have a crash that we were dealing with before Wisconsin's Midday News started. 41 894 south at the ramp from Greenfield Avenue. Left shoulder is blocked there because of a crash. And we just have a couple of disabled vehicles. But from what I'm seeing so far, those disabled vehicles are not causing any problems.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Volkswagen. Visit hallvw.com.
If you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Mazda traffic tip line, 414-238-9329. Visit Hall Volkswagen during Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event.
Well, the roads are going to be getting pretty slick here in the next hour or so. Our first band of rain working its way through southeast Wisconsin right now. And as you heard from Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore, it's just a taste of what's to come later this afternoon. Rain likely all afternoon into the evening, a high today around 47. Continuing rain tonight down to 44. 50 and mostly cloudy for your Saturday. Rain chances then Sunday and 44. Monday mostly cloudy 43 and a rain-snow mix on Tuesday and a high of 39 degrees. Right now, light drizzle and 45 in Milwaukee at 11:38.
reviews. Do you seek them out? I love looking at reviews. If I'm looking for a restaurant out of town, boom, I'm checking out the reviews. Especially for my husband also, who's very tall. If the review on the shirt says it's boxy, nope, not going to get it. Well, in a world increasingly dominated by online shopping, the concept of try before you buy has been replaced by a hunt for positive word of mouth about the product you're about to purchase. But is the review you're looking at real or fake? We bring in ABC's Jim Ryan here. Jim, so many of these reviews now are AI generated. Where are they showing up?
Well, everywhere. Any place you're shopping online is likely to have some fake reviews, either written by a person who wasn't really talking about that particular product or generated by AI. How many? A lot. The Transparency Company analyzed 73 million reviews in 3 different areas: home, legal, medical services. 14% of those reviews were most likely fake. It's impossible to tell for sure. The company says that it has a high degree of confidence that about 2.3 million of those 73 million were partly or entirely AI generated.
So what are companies doing about this?
Well, companies, unfortunately, are the ones who are kind of responsible for this. Now, Amazon, for example, it'll go through and it'll try. They have a room full of people trying to make sure that its third-party sellers aren't putting fake reviews out there. But smaller companies, foreign companies, maybe they aren't so careful, and in fact, they may intentionally be putting up fake reviews to try to draw you in. So you've got that stack of gift cards that you just received this week. You're looking at ways to spend them, and yes, there you go online and relying on reviews to ensure that what you're buying is a decent product.
So how do you spot a fake, an AI-generated review?
A couple of telltales, I'll tell you. So let's say, and this is the example I've been using this morning, you want to buy a vacuum cleaner. Okay, so you go online, you find a vacuum cleaner, the picture looks nice, and the price is right, so you start digging down into the reviews to try to separate the wheat from the chaff. And you find a review there for this vacuum cleaner, and it says, "This product is absolutely wonderful. I just love this product. And this product is something I'd buy again and recommend to my other friends looking for this kind of product." It doesn't mention vacuum cleaner. It's probably just a random general review that somebody wrote and was paid for, and it's being used for all sorts of products. On the other hand, let's say you find a review that says, this Hoover upright vacuum model number 1431 with the attachments for the crevice and the ceiling, and it's wonderful and it's excellent, and the specifications are it's 3 feet by 4. If it's that specific, it's probably AI generated. They just fed in specifics or the specifications for it, and it spit out this review. So somewhere in the middle, you got to find what's real, written by a human being who actually tried the product.
So in a nutshell, if it's extremely vague or incredibly detailed,
yes,
that's your sign. Doesn't the FTC have a rule now banning fake reviews?
Sure does, yeah. The rule was passed in August. It bans the sale or purchase of online reviews. It prohibits the use of fake reviews, either generated by a person or by AI. And if you find one, you're out there shopping online, and you find a review that looks fake or AI generated, or in other words, shouldn't be there, you can report that. Reportfraud.ftc.gov. And there's an online form there, and you can report this kind of fake, review.
And I've noticed, too, when it comes to AI-generated whatever it is, if it's a summary of something, a lot of times it will actually say that. It will say, this is AI-generated, and give you the summary.
Well, that's true. And, and there is some legitimate purpose for this kind of thing, for AI out there in the world of reviews. But for my money, if you want to find what another person has discovered with this thing, turn to another person and see what that person has said about this. I mean, for better or for worse. By the way, the best and funniest reviews are usually the negative ones, right?
Yes. I've always kind of thought, too, when it comes to, let's just get back to the old days with the human reviews. I always feel like if you're going to take the time to write a review, you're going to sit down and actually write a review, either it was absolutely wonderful or it was terrible.
Yes, either extreme. And so, right. And if a review has 10,000, or a product has 10,000 reviews, dig down a little bit. Dig down to the 9,000th to see what it says. Does it talk about that specific product? Does it talk in extremely glowing terms, or is it kind of a negative review that appears to be something written by people? Even a product that gets a bad review from someone talking about features that they didn't like, you might not care about those features. And it might still be a decent purchase.
Oh my gosh, that takes me to back in the day when I was looking for my second vehicle. I remember thinking about somebody was complaining about the area where you put your coins. And I thought, oh my goodness,
Big deal.
Of all of the things on a vehicle, if that's the complaint, I'm thinking that's real good. But now we have to worry about these fake AI jets. It's just a different world.
But that's a real review, too.
True.
They picked out that thing that bothered them, and they sat down and wrote about it.
Gosh, what else bothers that person at home? Well, Jim, do you have any plans for the new year coming up here?
No, not really.
No, yeah, you're just working like we are.
Yeah.
Well, we've appreciated you throughout this whole year here, and especially as we've started Wisconsin's Midday News. You've been a joy to work with, and we love having you.
It's been fun. You guys are great. It's a real, it's a wonderful conversation. It really is.
I thank you so much.
All right.
Happy New Year, Jim. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
America's Best installer of America's Best replacement windows does not have the word windows in their name. Their name is Siding. Siding Unlimited. Hey, the Sons took Dad's siding business and ran with it. Siding Unlimited, the family-owned Wisconsin company, keeps climbing to the top of Pella Windows of Pella, Iowa's awards. Siding Unlimited, one of only 5 Pella Premier installers in the whole country. But better than that, the top. For 4 of the past 5 years, Pella has honored Siding Unlimited as their National Certified Contractor of the Year. You want windows? Pay Wisconsin prices with this great local company delivering National Championship Award-winning service. Great craftsmanship, clean up behind, and leave the job better than before and better than expected. You know, the company with Wisconsin family values. Pride in integrity, pride in people, pride in Wisconsin. SidingUnlimited.com.
Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
The holiday season is a magical time of year to visit Lake Geneva. Embark on an enchanting Santa cruise on the lake. Take in a parade of trees and marvel at the world's tallest glass tree, built before your very eyes. Enjoy holiday shopping in a historic downtown. Chill out with festive food and libations in an igloo under the stars. Or find adventure on a zipline, ski hill, or snow-covered nature trail. Make Lake Geneva your place for holiday fun this year. Check out visitlakegeneva.com today for all the festive details.
This holiday season, the Salvation Army needs your help. Bell ringers are working hard, and our service depends on generous donations like yours. Every dollar donated helps us provide meals, shelter, and emergency support to families in crisis, not just at Christmas, but all year long. From immediate need to long-term care, your donation can create lasting change in our communities. Join us in making a difference. Volunteer as a bell ringer or donate today. Visit salvationarmywi.org to learn how you can help.
The holiday season may be coming to a close, but there's still plenty of time to make it a magical one. Ring in the new year with something stunning and timeless from Diamonds Direct. Start the new year with a celebration of your love, or even a celebration of yourself. Whether you're shopping for the perfect wedding bands, a beautiful pair of diamond studs that were missing from under your tree, or the engagement ring of their dreams, Diamonds Direct has just what you're wishing for. This year, make your New Year's resolution to shop smarter by shopping direct. Making a decision on where to make your next jewelry purchase has never been easier. At Diamonds Direct, you're guaranteed to get an extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and the white glove service that we've long been known for. Let the experts at Diamonds Direct show you the difference in a concierge luxury shopping experience. Kick off the new year the way you've always wanted. Customize your experience in-store or online at diamondsdirect.com today. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
So I'm driving down I-94 the other day, and I see this billboard for Charlie Barron's new brandy. Did you see it up anywhere?
I don't think I have. Not too much driving that I do as the biker at the office.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I have not seen that one.
So it sticks out. I thought it was great marketing for the holiday. There's always this debate about the old fashioned. I know you love old fashions.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, yeah. Here in Wisconsin, people like it with brandy on top instead of bourbon. Well, this billboard says, tell your folks, I said, make it a Barron's. We talked to the comedian and host of the Manitowoc Minute about who inspired the spirit and what makes it unique.
And never a bad time to have a brandy old-fashioned, Charlie. So this is your newest adventure. This is so cool. Walk me through Barron's old-fashioned brandy. The name Barron's is not reflective of you so much as it is somebody else in your family?
Yeah, I wanted to name it after the most, Midwest guy I knew. And my grandpa Bob, I wouldn't be in any position the way I am if it weren't for my grandpa Bob, because early on in my comedy days, I was just kind of copying a lot of the things he would say, and he was not saying it ironically at all, and it was just so much fun listening to him talk, because I don't know where he picked up some of these phrases, but it was just poetry, and so the hard part of all that was done, and so when I was coming up with a brandy's the most Wisconsin drink you can have. And my grandpa Bob's the most Wisconsin guy I ever knew, so it just made sense to name it after him,
Okay, so when we talk about, you're thinking about the packaging and how the bottle's going to look. This is a square bottle, and you had a reason for that. What is it?
Yeah, very much so. And that's because, when you're fishing and, you kick the bottle over, it starts rolling around the boat, spilling it over. We've got an anti-roll spill technology built into this bottle. And that's that it's a square bottle. So not only does it fit better into your tackle box, but it also has four corners, so it's not going to roll around a boat like a different kind of brandy might. On top of that, guys, and this is probably the coolest part of this deal, is that every single part of this bottle can be recycled. The cork, what you do is you take about a 16th-inch drill bit, a little less than that actually, drill right through the top, and now you got a bobber, okay? You might have to put a toothpick in there as a stopper, but that'll work as a bobber. So you got that going. And then, of course, the bottle, you can do 1,000 things like that. Stick a candle in it. Now you got a candle holder. You can use it as a water bottle, just keep the cork in, and now it's a glass water bottle. So, you're not just buying brandy here. You're buying a lifetime experience with this bottle.
Oh, cutting edge, as you might expect from Charlie Barron. So is this like a ready-to-drink old-fashioned, or do you got to do the muddling and the mixing and the adding of stuff at all, the bitters and whatnot?
Yeah, no, I hate to tell you guys, you're going to have to make your own old-fashions with it, but don't worry, because we've got the Barron's old-fashioned brandy channels where we're going to be doing recipes of not just old-fashions, but also Manhattans. Honestly, you can do a lot of brandy drinks that people don't often think of. A lot of old supper club drinks, pink squirrels and whatnot can substitute brandy as well. So there's a lot of that to look forward to. And also, it's a good sipper straight, and I don't often say that about brandy, but this one you can sip it straight, sip it on ice if you want. And, it's a little harder than an old-fashioned, but it's still pretty smooth, I got to tell you that.
You're listening to the Wisconsin's Midday News. While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
The Brewers and the Bucks have been closely watching this Valley Sports parent company because fans want to know how they're going to continue to watch these games.
Entertainment.
Ryan Turek, Vice President of Feature Film Development for Blumhouse.
That movie really connected with audiences because it felt like it could happen to you.
And more every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
Don't go broke in a nursing home when you don't have to. Did you know the average cost of long-term care in Wisconsin is $10,000 a month? Well, who pays for this? Medicare doesn't cover long-term care, so either you do or Medicaid does. WTMJ's Greg Matzik from my friends at Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. Secure your assets by calling Dan and the team today. They've built their business around protecting you. Protect what you've earned, protect what you've built. With a new office in Brookfield, let my friends and the experts at Krause Estate Planning guide you. EstatePlanningPeople.com.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, Propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
It is 11:54 on Wisconsin's Midday News. Adam Roberts alongside Jessica Tighe, and we have done it again. We have reached the end of the work week, albeit kind of a wonky one with the Christmas holiday in the middle. And as always on Friday, here in Wisconsin's Midday News, we wrap up the week that was with our Week in Review. And Jessica, certainly no shortage of things. Even with the wonky week, we had a ground stoppage that was there and then it wasn't for an hour on Christmas Eve.
It was a quick one.
The worst day possible for it. A deadly plane crash, meanwhile, in Kazakhstan. We have unaccounted ballots being now found in Madison. All that and more. It is the Week in Review, brought to you, as always, by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go ho, ho, ho.
Love-a-thon is on.
Third down and goal, back to the air. Touchdown, Wicks wide open.
Can you snap the Jordan Love conspiracy theory is real?
Can't say.
Knew it.
Jordan, you're officially going to the playoffs. How's that sound to you?
It's amazing. You know, this is what we work for all season.
Stop playing around! Once again! Punch the ticket!
Come on, man. Come on.
How do you think you guys have handled pressure?
How do you think we've handled pressure, Tom? What's your gut say? I'm a big gut guy.
I'm asking the questions here, Kevin.
The city of Madison mourning the death of teacher Aaron West in the Abundant Life Christian school shooting.
So many thoughts, so many emotions, so many questions just swirling around my mind right now.
What was abundantly clear was that Aaron loved Jesus. She loved her husband, Jack. She loved her girls, and she loved us and her church family.
American Airlines is back in the air after a ground stop early this morning.
Flight dispatch paperwork given to pilots before flights was not available to be produced for about an hour.
I've been from Chicago to Paris to Dallas to where the hell am I?
Scranton.
A man credited with preserving baseball in southeast Wisconsin has died.
George Petek, a former state senator from Racine, was the one who cast the deciding vote to provide public funding for what would become Miller Park.
He always wanted to do what was right. And I would say that whether he voted for or against Miller Park.
In the last few days, the president-elect has been railing against the canal, suggesting that the U.S. seized control, arguing that Panama is ripping off American businesses.
We will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America.
Trump also suggesting again that Canada become the 51st state.
Canada needs to stand up and hold the line.
They're not even a real country anyway.
Welcome, everyone, to the Wisconsin's Morning News Holiday Radio Show.
I'm Sandy Max, giving you the gift of lots of Wisconsin-made holiday music this next hour.
Welcome into our holiday show.
At least 38 people are dead and dozens injured after a passenger plane crashed in Kazakhstan.
Video taken from the ground shows the Azerbaijan Airlines flight in its final moments in the sky. The plane falling and rising erratically, at one point appearing to aim straight toward the ground before leveling off.
Experts say it appears increasingly likely this passenger jet may have been mistaken by Russian forces as a threat amid the ongoing war in Ukraine.
Nearly 200 absentee ballots in Madison, not counted.
The City of Madison Clerk's Office discovered the ballots during post-election cleanup and reconciliation.
How many Oconomowocs is too many Oconomowocs? Apparently 2.
The town will be absorbed and become part of the village of Lac La Belle.
And it actually benefits the town that they now have borders that are protected.
The Mega Millions winner could take home the 5th largest prize in Mega Millions history.
Lines will be long at the convenience stores and supermarkets where tickets are sold and where players are making plans, both practical.
First of all, I'd probably give me a really good tax attorney.
And extravagant.
I'm buying businesses, I'm buying up blocks, I'm buying an island.
Every copy of Shirley Jackson's The Lottery has been checked out from the Springfield Public Library.
What a week, eh?
I'm a big gut guy.
Word.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. They're the best. Let them make Outdoor Living Unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Staggering inflation continues to affect so many families. Yet the Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford is more affordable than ever. It's a holiday Fish Fry Friday. It's all you can eat and just $7.99. Do not pay $16 or more. Your Mineshaft Fish Fry is $7.99. The Mineshaft is decorated with holiday lights, decorations, and Christmas characters. Your kids will love it and the world-class game room. After a long week, relax with a cold brew, a delicious old-fashioned or glass of wine for a perfect fish fry. Desserts are buy one, get one free. Your Saturday steak dinner is under $20. The all-you-can-eat Sunday brunch under $18. The Mineshaft is in festive downtown Hartford with lots of seating. The low prices and holiday decorations will make you happy. They urge you to visit the Mineshaft today for the all-you-can-eat fish fry, just $7.99. Serving from 11 a.m. Arrive early. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Breaking news as it happens. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 12 o'clock. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, December 27th. Your top story, absorbing the town of Oconomowoc.
I'm Adam Roberts. A controversial immigration policy could soon return.
Checking out your forecast, we have a high of 47 today. Finally getting over that fog. Tonight, though, rain is likely. In fact, some of you seeing rain today. Breezy otherwise. Our temps will dip down to 44. Tomorrow, a mild day. Slight chance for rain in the early hours. Mostly cloudy otherwise. A high of 50. It is currently... Dun-dun-dun-dun. Let's give it a refresh. 47 degrees still in Milwaukee.
Oh, we dropped a degree.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center in 2025, say goodbye to the town of Oconomowoc.
The town will be absorbed and become part of the village of Lac La Belle. Village President Timothy Clark says the consolidation keeps zoning laws local.
Our zoning and things like that are very important to us, and it actually benefits the town that they now have borders that are protected.
Another advantage to the village is more resources like police and...
In 2024, we started to use their Public Works Department and their administrative services.
Village leaders plan to step down as Oconomowoc town leaders take over the new Lac La Belle community starting 2025. Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
In Madison, questions are still being asked as to how 200 nearly unprocessed election ballots went unnoticed by the city clerk's office.
The City of Madison clerk's office discovered the ballots during post-election cleanup and reconciliation. It says all affected voters will receive an apology letter. The affected wards are 56, 65, and 68. The mayor's office says it was not notified of the unprocessed ballots until December 20th. Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway saying in a statement, quote, while the discovery of these unprocessed absentee ballots did not impact the results of any election or referendum, a discrepancy of this magnitude is unacceptable, unquote. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
The clerk's office says moving forward, every polling location will receive a list of absentee envelope seal numbers that will be verified as counted on Election Day.
The incoming Trump administration is planning to bring back an immigration policy that sparked controversy during his first term. Family separation. Katrina Kaufman has details from D.C.
President-elect Trump's incoming border czar says they're preparing to begin a massive roundup of undocumented immigrants. Tom Homan told the Washington Post that includes bringing back a controversial policy from Trump's first administration. family detention. Homan says they plan to build tent structures to hold thousands of migrants at any given time.
Authorities in New York City have not been able to identify the woman killed after she was set on fire on a subway train, but the criminal case against her alleged killer is moving forward.
Mayor Eric Adams suggested federal charges against the man accused of setting a woman on fire on a subway train and fanning the flames. But the Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez, announcing the indictment of Sebastian Zapata, says he thinks a conviction is more certain in state court.
On the murder one, the top charge is life without the possibility of parole.
Zapata, who authorities say entered the U.S. illegally, is due in court January 7th. Brian Clark, ABC News, New York.
City of Milwaukee approves $5 million in taxpayer money to help expand Port Milwaukee. It's part of a $17 million investment to accommodate larger Viking cruise ships with a new dock east of the Lake Express ferry terminal. A Port Milwaukee study says cruises generated more than $7 million in economic impact from 2022 through 2024. Work on the new dock starts in 2025. It's expected to be operational by 2026.
Bands of steady rain starting now to work their way through southeast Wisconsin. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore tells Wisconsin's Midday News while the rain and snow melt will cause some water levels in area creeks to rise, widespread flooding is not expected.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have to watch the depth of the frost layer right now. I know it's just surface right now that's kind of thawed out, so you can get more runoff even with lighter rain events like this, just because that water can't seep in deep into the soil. So it's definitely something to watch.
We'll complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in about 3 minutes.
Time for news about your money. Here's a WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update. It's not looking good, everybody, on this Friday. Everything is in the red. Everything is down. The Dow down nearly 454 points to 42,872. S&P 500 is down 86 points to 5,951. And the NASDAQ is down 383 points to 19,637. We'll see what happens before the bell closes here. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Hey, heads up, we've got some hefty delays right now on 94 East, just west of the Marquette due to an incident there. We'll have a look at that with the latest in traffic, plus your sports and 5-day forecast up next. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is approaching 12:06.
By now you've probably figured out what's most important to us at Semper Fi is our reputation. Building a great character-driven remodeling company is actually quite easy. It's just the first 20 years that are a bit challenging. Great companies are collections of great people, and we have great people. They're the ones that helped us build our reputation, but they only come after you've built something they want to be part of. We don't necessarily have to look for good people. They come to us. And that's what you want when you hire an exterior remodeling company. Someone who's going to stand behind their work, and a company that is truly proud of their people. And it's because they do great work. And when you're ready, we'll do great work for you too. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
Listen to Spanning the State.
We are less than a month out from an election where inflation, eggs, gas, the cost of things was a main motivator for how people voted. And yet we are spending in record numbers.
Inflation was the big thing. The prices are so high, people don't have money. If things are really that bad, we're not dropping $11 billion on Friday and $13 billion today and $6 billion the day before Thanksgiving.
From 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., only on WTMJ.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Packers heading into the postseason, but first, they've got 2 games to finish off the regular season slate, starting this Sunday with a trip to the Twin Cities to take on the 13-2 Minnesota Vikings, who currently hold the 2 spot in the NFC North ahead of the 11-4 Pack. ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher tells WTMJ ahead of Sunday's tilt in Minnesota, the Packers should head in fully confident they'll leave the Twin Cities with a win.
You definitely don't want to be the 7, and I think, everybody was kind of talking about, the psychological part of beating Minnesota. I'm going to tell you right now, Green Bay is going to feel confident. Whether or not it's going to be false confidence or real confidence, they feel like they're as good of a team as anybody in the NFC, but sometimes you don't need to take the toughest path.
Green Bay game day coverage will kick off at noon on Sunday here on WTMJ.
Let's get you an update on the roads right now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. We do have some lane closures in I-94 East at I-43 North in the Milwaukee area. DOT initially reporting this as all lanes closed, but I'm taking a peek at the cameras right now, and I do see that traffic is moving through, though very, very slowly. Once again, this is I-94 East at I-43 North. There is a crash. I also see a truck that is already on the tow truck, so I'm hoping that this is cleared pretty quickly. But if you are in it right now, I can tell you that the backups start around the ballpark. So the backups start around American Family Field, and then the crash, I-94 East at I-43 North. So a heads up in case you're traveling that way right now.
Traffic is sponsored by Richlands Tire and Service Center.
Richlands Tire and Service Centers. 5 locations and all easy to find. Visit richlands.com when you're due for service.
The rain bands are moving north right now. Some heavy rain right at the moment near the Janesville and Beloit areas, moving due north towards Madison. We'll pick up plenty of it this afternoon. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore forecasting about a ½ inch to 3/4 inches for most of us. 47 your high today, 44 tonight, 50 mostly cloudy Saturday, 44 clouds Sunday, mostly cloudy 43 Monday, and a rain-snow mix on Tuesday with a high of 39. Right now it's 44 and a little drizzle in Milwaukee at 12:10.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life.
Yes, it is. Happy Friday, everybody. The weekend is here. For some people, it just feels like an extended vacation period, right? So many people were off this whole week.
Right.
A lot of people taking next week off, too, just the way the holidays fell this year on the calendar.
And you know how I can tell that? Because when I'm in the morning and I look out on the roads, and I usually expect, all right, 7 o'clock in the morning, that volume starts to build. We've got backups here, there, everywhere. Not this week.
It has been very slow, that's for sure. But you got a lot of people out on the roads now just kind of getting things done and maybe traveling to another party or going to return that shirt that doesn't fit. It's still a busy time. And the news doesn't stop.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
An update to a story that shocked the country. The man accused of burning a woman to death on a New York City subway train is now indicted. Sebastian Zapeta is facing first-degree murder and arson charges. Today, investigators are working to identify the victim. They believe she was homeless.
We know that there's a family. Just because someone appears to have been living, in the situation of homelessness does not mean that there's not going to be family devastated by, the tragic way she lost her life.
The woman was burned beyond recognition, so the detective work on this case is not as easy as it would be in other cases.
Her body was badly burned, and so advanced fingerprinting efforts are being made, as well as advanced DNA evidence to identify her.
Federal immigration officials say the 33-year-old Zapeta is from Guatemala and entered the U.S. illegally. He remains jailed this afternoon.
Number 2, mortgage rates ticking higher heading into 2025. Right now, the average 30-year fixed mortgage up to 6.85%, which means monthly payments could be a couple of $100 more than they were under September's rates. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Rates are expected to stay in this 6% range next year. And a key reason why is that those rates move in anticipation of the Federal Reserve's moves. The Fed's now saying it's going to be a bit more cautious about cutting rates next year, but still glimmers of hope for buyers in 2025. We've also seen some homeowners who have been waiting to move starting to accept that rates are unlikely to go back to that really low 3% level anytime soon. So it would finally free up homes for buyers who have been sitting on the sidelines.
The news on these rates comes as inflation has been inching back up in recent months. The labor market also remains strong, and both of those factors mean the Fed does not have much reason at the moment to cut interest rates again.
Well, you could pay off your mortgage if you hit the jackpot. The grand prize in tonight's Mega Millions drawing has grown to an estimated $1.15 billion.
Whoa!
All you really need to hear is billion dollars.
Billion with a B. Yeah,
what
that'll send them
a
out.
prize. Yeah, and what a year for Mega Millions. It wasn't your typical one.
Mega Millions calling 2024 the most unusual jackpot year in history, with only 3 grand prizes won, but all of them in top 10 territory. That includes the $1.3 billion winner from New Jersey, who finally claimed their prize this week after 9 months of mystery. The odds are steep to win the jumbo jackpot, about 1 in 302 million.
If you're thinking about buying a ticket for tonight, but you're sitting on the sidelines right now, take note of this. The price to play Mega Millions come April will more than double. It's going to be $5.
And even lottery can't escape inflation.
Right? So I don't know. That would be, I mean, I don't really play often. I think I've played maybe a handful of times in my life, just when it gets really big and everybody's talking about it. But you feel like, okay, $2 here, or maybe you buy a couple, here's $10. But $5 for one ticket?
Just one. Yeah, I'm also the person who, if I'm at like a Quick Trip or something and I have maybe a few singles burning a hole in my wallet.
Oh, really?
They have the machines that are over there. Loser again.
Have you ever won?
I've won small amounts. I mean, nothing over maybe
Enough
$30.
to pay for your ticket?
Enough to pay for the ticket, and then they get you by buying more tickets.
Right.
And then the cycle continues.
By the way, since it's going up to $5 in April, lottery officials say the increase will lead to bigger jackpots and better odds of winning.
Alrighty then, I'll believe it when I see it.
If you're playing tonight, good luck. We'll check in with Joel Brennan, president of the GMC, and maybe see if he's playing. My guess is no, but I don't know. Sometimes he surprises us. It's 12:15.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow here for Elmbrook Family Dental. Wanted to share something that Dr. Tybel just told me. From now through the end of this year, new Invisalign patients will get $600 off and a new Sonicare toothbrush. They're awesome. The new patient process is so easy. They have 2 beautiful locations in Brookfield and a brand new state-of-the-art office in Wauwatosa. Book now at elmbrookfamilydental.com. That's ELMBROOK familydental.com.
What's on your wrist, Ben?
A watch.
The other wrist.
Oh, I'm handcuffed to a briefcase containing secret plans.
Why?
We can't let these secret plans fall into the wrong hands.
What secret plans?
This briefcase contains the specifications for the mother of all penny mustard bedroom collections.
The colonial bedroom?
Quiet, Nicole.
It's no secret the colonial bedroom is gorgeous.
American made with solid wood and forever tight bed brackets.
And the drawer bottom's strong enough to stand on.
Will you please keep it down?
In Penny Mustard's 3-decade existence, there's never been a bedroom more carefully constructed than the Colonial Collection.
Precisely why these trade secrets need to stay under wraps.
Heck no. We need to tell the world about the Colonial Bedroom.
You'd make a terrible spy, Arvid.
The Colonial Bedroom, starting at just $248 a month with only 1 penny down and no interest till January of 2028 through January 12th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
I've always believed that great service makes all the difference. At Waterstone Bank, it's more than just banking. It's personal. When I needed help choosing an account, my banker took the time to understand my needs and guided me through my options. Thanks to her advice, I can watch my money grow, knowing it's secure.
Welcome to your Waterstone Bank, where community and personal service come together. Member FDIC.
Well, the rain is coming, and the bands are moving quickly now through southern Wisconsin. Madison, Milwaukee, points north. You're going to be getting wet pretty quickly here, and it's going to continue throughout the afternoon. High today around 47. We'll feel a bit cooler, though, with that rain falling into the night tonight. Not going to cool too much, down to 43, 50 and cloudy for your Saturday. Right now, drizzle and 44 in Milwaukee at 12:17.
Every week, we talk with Joel Brennan, president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee. It's typically on Thursday, but we're sliding him to Friday due to the holiday week. I feel like this is a nice bonus having you here to end our week, Joel.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here. And we had David Crowley tapping on the window and waving at us here a moment ago.
And sometimes we have this glare. It's hard to see, so we're waving.
Yeah, you guys just sounded some strange man waving at us. I said it's the county executive.
I've been instructed if anyone's ever tapping on the glass, it's just tunnel vision. I don't recognize, but when the county executive's outside your window, you got to wave hello.
We told him he could come in, but I don't know where he went. We did just talk with him too, so that's okay. It's your time, Joel. It's your time.
Thank you.
We wanted to talk about Milwaukee Public Schools. They just reopened their search for the next superintendent. I know where my mind goes when all of a sudden there's a job opening that, okay, we need to reopen this. It means that we're looking for more applicants as the bottom line. What are you thinking about this?
Well, they started this process in the fall, and they used what I think is a very reputable firm to try to attract candidates. And at one point they talked about having like 30 or so who were interested. They met last week as a board, went into closed session to kind of hear who those candidates were, who the search firm brought forward. And I think what we all think when something like that happens, when they say they're going to reopen, is but they didn't see anything or much of what they would like to see. And I think what you get in a situation like this, you may get people from other districts around the country who are maybe second in charge, and but part of this is, I think, a recognition or a frustration with Milwaukee and where we are. There has been. Over the last couple decades, the school board, and we've seen it very much so in the last 6 months or a year, there's just been dysfunction there. And I think that's, and the superintendent works for the school board. And I think when you've got structural issues like that, you may not be able to attract all the candidates. Now, hopefully they're still going to find someone who puts kids first and who can deal with the fiscal challenges that MPS has and the historical things that we're still facing as a community. But I think, to their credit, if they didn't find what they liked at the first go-round, they should keep looking.
True. And I think this is a huge challenge. Whoever gets this role, the next superintendent of MPS, is a big, big challenge. But also, there's a great opportunity there.
It is. It's still one of the most important jobs for about 60,000 kids in our city. And, we need to make sure that we get this right. Now, on the other side of that, I said the superintendent works for the school board. You have 4 school board races that are going to happen this spring and having real trouble attracting candidates for those races. So one of those may go unfilled, and they talked about, maybe having a special election for that. So, I think we have a true void of leadership right now, and we need the community to step up, but there needs to be some fundamental change inside MPS and a willingness for that to be the case.
So, Joel, I remember when I was covering when Superintendent Dr. Keith Posley tendered his resignation earlier this year. One of the things a lot of community members were saying was, well, yeah, he's gone, but it feels like cutting the head off a dandelion without uprooting the plant of dysfunction. So will simply getting a new superintendent in the door be enough to set the district on the right track? Or is this a case where, despite the fact it probably won't happen, you mentioned the difficulty finding school board candidates, are they going to have to uproot the whole plan of dysfunction before change actually happens?
Well, I hope that, and I'm going to continue to be somebody, and I think there are lots of us in the community who think that the status quo is absolutely unacceptable within MPS. So, you can't find school board candidates. You get very few people to vote in them. Let's move the date of that election. We have it in off years. We should coincide it with the partisan races in the fall. We just, I think there was just news that Milwaukee had the highest turnout of any big city in the country for the presidential election. So let's put other races on there. There's a way to engage the community more, but I don't even think that's enough. I think there are still lots of people in the community who are talking about the governance structure inside MPS and how do you disrupt that in a useful and a positive way that we just don't allow the continued status quo that has really kept us back for 35 years. We just can't accept that anymore.
We waved in Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, and he has entered the studio now. So I just want to let you know, Joel, in case he comes in, we've got to ask him about his final grade. He was waiting on some grades at the end. So we're going to ask him about that. But as we stay on education.
He gets an A+ for getting his degree. That's what he gets from me.
He does. And, he very good student, but he was like waiting on this one, and we weren't sure. I see him waving back there. I want to stay on this education moment, though, because, he just left. I don't know if that means he got the C he was thinking he might get. What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
Okay, we'll find out. Well, we saw a significant transition in 2024 when it comes to higher education here in southeastern Wisconsin. First, let's talk about Dr. Anthony Cruz being selected the 11th president of MATC. That was a big change.
Yeah, it was. And one of the great things, so he replaced Vicki Martin, who had been at MATC for about a decade and left things, I think, in a very good place. The technical colleges in Wisconsin have pretty healthy funding from the state. We do pretty well nationally. There's a lot of good bones there. And one of the great things about Dr. Cruz is he comes to us from South Florida, and he brings a perspective from outside, but an appreciation of what we have here in Milwaukee. And I would say he's hit the ground running. I don't know if you are friends with him or connected with him on LinkedIn. He's one of the great LinkedIn users in the community, but he's also just shown up. He's very present. And I think he's truly engaged in the community. There's some exciting building projects that MATC is involved with downtown, and they truly are a downtown campus, and they are about providing access and opportunity for the community as well. And so I'm excited about what he's bringing, but I think he's also already done a really good job of hitting the ground running in the first few months.
And Marquette University, another big one, a new change there, a new leader after your friend, Michael Lovell.
Yeah. And I mean, my friend, a community friend, a kind of a community pillar, Mike Lovell. You make transitions sometimes because you want to. Vicki Martin retired, and Mark Monet has announced his retirement at UWM, and there's a transition that comes in places. When that happens, Mike unfortunately passed away after a 3-year battle with cancer back in June. That Marquette, I think, decided to go with continuity with Dr. Tighe Ayoun, who had been the provost there and kind of second in charge. And I've had the opportunity to spend some time with Tighe, and I think one of the things I appreciate, I went to a basketball game with him. I saw him engaging with the team, engaging with the students. If there's a hallmark that Mike Lovell had, it was his connection with students.
Yes.
And seeing Dr. Ayoun do the same thing, I think he's going to chart his own path, and these are really challenging times in higher education in Wisconsin, and he's got to navigate a path and navigate some things even internally at Marquette. But I do think that he's going to be somebody who can really contribute a lot to the community. He's not well known in the community. He was doing a lot of the background work, and Mike was out there as the face of the community. And now Tighe has the chance to step out into the community. I'm looking forward to helping him with that and what he can do and who he can be as a community leader.
Well, Joel, I wanted to get your reaction to some good news on this front. You talked about how it's a challenging time for higher ed, not just in Milwaukee, but throughout Wisconsin and really the country. But some good news came in earlier this week. Alverno College on the city's south side. You may recall earlier this year, they had to declare a financial emergency in June. Well, now their higher learning commission's reporting they're out of that financial emergency. Now, they had to make some pretty big cuts to get to that point, but still, I have to imagine there's some lessons to be learned from doing the tough things that need to be done to make it work.
And I think that's the case everywhere in higher education. With Alverno, they had the benefit, and I may get the number wrong, but I think it was maybe a $10 million gift from the Morgridge family, from John and Tasha Morgridge, who, if there are two people who have been more committed to southeastern Wisconsin. They haven't lived here in a long time. They live in California, but they continue to contribute to the UW system, to Madison, made a significant contribution to Alverno. That's part of what has helped Alverno. Now, the mission at places like Alverno, Mount Mary is so important. They're Hispanic-serving institutions. They're providing opportunity for young women in our community and really changing their lives. But the model is very challenging for all of those institutions. And I think Alverno has forestalled things, at least for the time being, but they and others are just going to have to kind of deal with what are fundamental challenges with demographics and where things are going in higher education. But that is good news. It's great when institutions like that, we saw Cardinal Stritch and what happened there, the disruption there. So it is really challenging for the community when we have that kind of disruption. But unfortunately, I think there's more coming down the line and more changes that are going to happen in higher ed at a faster pace than we've been used to here.
Joel, before we go today, how are you celebrating the new year?
Well, I have family members in town. I grew up in a large family with 11 children. There are 9 of us who remain on Earth, and most of us are in town. I'm the only one who lives here in Milwaukee, but
how lovely.
Most of them are in town. A few just landed and are driving in. So we're getting together tonight, and we're going to be around. We'll be doing things like playing cribbage, doing some trivia type work. We're gathering at my sister-in-law's house tonight, having a great spread from beans and barley, a great Milwaukee institution. This is not the kind of thing my family who lives in New York City or Boston or Baltimore is going to get there. So, just making sure that we have that kind of celebration. My daughter's in town for another few days before she has to go back to school. So it really is that, for everybody this time, it's about how can you gather with family? How can you really celebrate each other?
Joel Brennan making it a Milwaukee celebration, as we knew you would. How appropriate. Thank you so much, and cheers to you in the new year.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to you guys.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:28. Coming up next, your top local stories.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time AccuNet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan costs $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick AccuNet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. OrthoWisconsin.com.
Politics, work, daily stressors. Let's take a break from all that and get centered. Christ-centered. I'm Pastor Tim Butker. Join me each week for Christian Crusaders, a broadcast that highlights the gospel, the good news of Jesus, and our belief in the authoritative Word of God. Christ-centered, gospel-oriented, Bible-based, Christian Crusaders. Please join us Sundays at 6 a.m. on WTMJ. We'd love to have you worship with us.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Siding is what pops on your home. Clean lines, beautiful accents, and wonderful colors can make your home really look amazing. Homeowners are always looking to add curb appeal when buying new siding, and a well-installed product from Siding Unlimited will definitely deliver a grand appeal. There is so much more to gain from replacing your siding other than the curb appeal you're already seeking. There is so much value in having new siding with low maintenance. Just an annual cleaning with the hose is all you really need to do. You can't get much lower maintenance than that. The process of replacing siding gives homeowners a fresh start, a new understanding knowing that we can peel back the old stuff and get a real in-depth inspection on the walls on your home and the structural integrity. How has the home performed over the past 20 years? We'll see it all when removing the old siding. There's a high percentage your home is missing the most important factor in siding a home, and that's a working water barrier. Many homes built in the 1990s and prior don't have a water barrier beneath the siding, and homes that were built in the 90s that do have one probably have a water barrier that was installed incorrectly. New siding replacement assures us that we install the water barrier correctly and protect the home moving forward. Our process always includes adding insulation board to the wall. This gives you a water barrier underlayment and additional R value, which is an energy coefficient, so warmer walls, adding more value to the project than the expected curb appeal. As the new siding goes back on, we know your home will be ready to manage water well into the future and look amazing doing so.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for siding and also replacement windows, roofing, and decks. Take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, December 27th. Your top story, the sickness sweeping through our community.
I'm Adam Roberts. A food plant explosion in Georgia.
As we look at the forecast, some of us dealing with fog and mist, others dealing with drizzle right now. We have a high of 47. Rain will become likely as the day goes on. Tonight, rain is likely as well. Breezy otherwise. Low of 44 tonight. Tomorrow, mild conditions. A slight chance for rain in the early morning hours. Mostly cloudy otherwise. We have a high of 50 tomorrow. It's currently 46 degrees in Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, back-to-back illnesses are spreading this holiday season. Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County, Dr. Ben Weston, tells WTMJ some viruses can gang up on your immune system.
When you have all these different things going around, you can certainly get that kind of a double whammy where you are feeling crummy, your immune system is kind of knocked down already, and then another thing comes into your household. And so that very well may be what you have. Now, some of these things can go both directions. You can get the cold symptoms as well as the GI symptoms mixed with one awful virus.
Dr. Weston says the best prevention is washing your hands and covering your mouth when you cough or sneeze.
Meanwhile, cases of whooping cough in the U.S., the highest they've been in a decade, and Wisconsin continues to see some of the worst numbers in the country. As of mid-December, the U.S. logging more than 32,000 cases of whooping cough, that according to the CDC. In Wisconsin, the disease has been spiking since summer. The Department of Health Services reports Wisconsin has logged 2,365 cases of whooping cough this year, and that's compared to just 51 cases for all of 2023.
One worker is dead and others are hurt after a late-night explosion and fire at a Tyson Foods processing plant in the small South Georgia town of Camilla. Jamie Thompson is the coroner in the county.
I know this is a big industry for Mitchell County. I know it's a horrible tragedy for the victims that were burnt and also to the victim that did die.
Heavy debris is keeping first responders from retrieving the woman's body.
The incoming border czar says he is not going to let current laws that protect illegal immigrants stand in the way of President-elect Donald Trump's plan for mass deportations. Tom Homan telling News Nation they're looking for workarounds.
We're looking at the policy now, but there are exceptions to that policy even as they exist, especially if it concerns a significant public safety threat or significant national security issue. There are waivers that people can go into those central locations. We're looking at the central location policy yet, not done, working on it, but we'll see where it comes out.
Holman is also defending the administration's $86 billion price tag for deporting potentially millions of people who are in the country illegally.
The trend for weather in 2024, milder than years past. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore tells WTMJ he saw a notable shift in the temperatures in southeastern Wisconsin as the months shift into the full winter season.
I'm really hoping we have a little bit of an easier spring than some of the last couple of years. It does feel like it's almost like the season shifted back a month, right? Like, yeah, even this December hasn't really been too bad. We've had a couple inches of snow. We're still below average, but last year we only had a trace of snow for all of December. So it seems like Mother Nature's taking its time getting winter going.
We were talking about a temp of 50 coming up. No, that's warm. But Tyler did tell us colder temperatures should be expected at the beginning of the new year. And stay close because your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast is coming up in just minutes.
The illness sweeping through the Bucks locker room. They're looking forward to a matchup though Sunday in Chicago. We'll have that plus the roads in your 5-day forecast next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 1236.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself, but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
The holiday season is a magical time of year to visit Lake Geneva. Embark on an enchanting Santa cruise on the lake. Take in a parade of trees and marvel at the world's tallest glass tree, built before your very eyes. Enjoy holiday shopping in a historic downtown. Chill out with festive food and libations in an igloo under the stars. Or find adventure on a zipline, ski hill, or snow-covered nature trail. Make Lake Geneva your place for holiday fun this year. Check out visitlakegeneva.com today for all the festive details.
Those who don't have 20/20 vision usually do something about it. But many who can't breathe freely through their nose just live with it, not realizing they can have 20/20 breathing. At Advent, we're out to change that. With 20/20 breathing, you'll have fewer sinus infections, more energy, you'll sleep better, and you will live better. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. In 2006, Advent pioneered the balloon sinuplasty procedure. And since, thousands of our patients can tell you, this simple 20-minute in-office solution really works. Balloon sinuplasty can give you 20/20 breathing so you can breathe freely through both nostrils with your mouth closed day and night. And that can change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The illness not just limited to the workspace, it's on the basketball floor too. The Bucks, Giannis and Damian Lillard both out due to illness for the team's 111-105 loss to the Nets Thursday night. They'll hope to be feeling better with an off day today ahead of their second trip to Chicago in a week. They'll face the Bulls at the United Center Saturday. You can hear it here on WTMJ. Packers Vikings Sunday afternoon from the Twin Cities. Green Bay already in the postseason at 11-4. Currently holding the 6th seed Minnesota at 13-2 despite that record. Just the 5th seed right now due to the wonky NFL divisions this year. Green Bay game day coverage begins at noon Sunday on WTMJ. And in college bowl action, the Armed Forces Bowl, Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, that is at halftime. Oklahoma leads Navy 14-7.
Let's get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Great news for you. That crash that we had that was causing a significant backup, I-94 East at I-43 North in the Milwaukee area, that just cleared. So we're looking good there. And actually the backups, boom, they're over too. We only have a disabled vehicle not too far from American Family Field. I-94 West at 68th Street. Right shoulder is blocked because of a car that's broken down. But it's not causing any delays at this moment. And that's it so far.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Volkswagen. Visit hallvw.com.
Help fellow commuters. Report accidents and slowdowns to the Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line. 414-238-9329. Visit Hall Volkswagen during Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event.
Rain bands continue moving north. Some of the heaviest stuff right now near Oregon. That's the city in Wisconsin, not the state out west. And moving up towards Madison, Oconomowoc, Milwaukee right now also getting in on some of the light rain. 1/2 inch to 3/4 inches possible throughout the area. High today of 47. Not going to fall too much tonight, down to 44. Will be mild on Saturday. You heard us mention 50. The high. Looking ahead to the start of next week, 44 Sunday and clouds, 43 Monday. Slight chance for a rain snow mix Tuesday and 39. Right now, it's drizzly and 43 in Milwaukee at 1240.
If you didn't get sick after eating something that was recalled this year, don't you feel like you dodged a bullet?
There were a lot of recalls this year for sure.
It seemed like we had recall after recall after recall in 2024. Right before Christmas, we had this new recall with Costco eggs. I remember seeing the alert come down and thinking, oh no, because we typically have Costco eggs. It's a great deal. We typically have them in the house. I had just made egg roll in a bowl that has quite a few eggs in it. Then I put an egg on top of it. Oh, I love it. I love it. But I thought, oh my goodness. Well, it turns out that the problematic eggs weren't sold here in Wisconsin. So, whew. Sigh of relief on that one, right?
But we did have some egg recalls that did impact Wisconsin, the Milo's poultry farms. And I know this because I volunteer at the River West Co-op in my neighborhood. And Milo's is one of the big eggs that we carry along with Yuppie Farms. So when that news came down, I actually phoned over and said, hey, guys, We need to get rid of the Milos. Check the Milos. Get it out of there.
Yeah, that one was earlier this year. And then we had earlier this year as well, the onions on the quarter pounders. The Boar's Head deli meat, carrots, onions, the list goes on. So did we have more food recalls this year or just significant ones that made the news? Today we answer that question and look back on the food recalls of 2024.
Some of America's most trusted food brands issued major recalls. Debbie Smith's father died after eating a McDonald's quarter pounder.
It was very hard. I would hold his hand and pray and tell him to try to rest.
And a Boar's Head deli meats plant was revealed to have a long record of violations, including bugs and mold. Food safety expert Barbara Kowalczyk.
Obviously, there were breakdowns around sanitation, around physical hazards, repeated over time.
The FDA says America's food is still among the safest in the world and that recalls were not unusually high this year. But advocates worry trends are headed in the wrong direction. Scott Faber of the Environmental Working Group.
Our food supply is not as safe as it was even 5 years ago.
It comes as CDC's tally of germs often linked to food recalls is on the rise, adding up to thousands again this year battling diseases linked to the foods that they trusted. Alexander Tin, CBS News, Washington.
So I thought that was really interesting. Recalls not unusually high this year. Good news there. But germs linked to food recalls on the rise, that's not good. So it's like, well, it's a balancing act.
Now, I think we're a little bit slanted, though, with what you and I, Jessica, do for our jobs, because these stories come in all the time, and it always seems like when that first one hits, then there's like, uh-oh, here's another one that follows up, and that just kind of feels like how the news cycle works sometimes. But so it's good to know that, relatively speaking, it was not actually a banner year for food recalls.
I think when you have something like the quarter pounder at McDonald's, I mean, that it grabs everybody's attention, right? That was a big one. But I was looking at the 10 of the worst food recalls in U.S. history.
Sure.
And the Boar's Head deli meat this year is on that list for the top 10. Just looking back a little bit here, you might remember some of these. In 1993, we had the deadly Jack in the Box outbreak. They offered burgers at a discount. So it was like this huge discount. So the demand, there was just a surge in demand because everyone was like, yeah, let's go get a Jack in the Box burger. Well, it ultimately led to undercooked burgers made with meat that happened to be contaminated with E. coli.
Oh, double whammy.
Right? So that was back in 1993. 2006, there was a big recall with spinach, fresh spinach. And the FDA actually put out this very expansive warning, which is not like the FDA. And it basically said at the time, again, this is back in 2006, don't eat spinach. They were talking about bagged or bulk. And that's not usually something that the FDA comes out with. It's usually like, don't eat this. Here's the lot number. Here are the specifics. But it was very general in 2006 because of the worry.
It's funny you mentioned that one. I was in middle school in 2006, and I was the picky eater of the family. I liked things plain, and I did not like to veer too far from my course of food. But I was just actually starting to finally accept that I need to have some variety in my diet. And while spinach
You finally accepted that as a kid?
Yes, at 13 years old. Yeah, good me. But I finally started getting into, okay, let's try mixing salads up a little bit. Hey, I like spinach. Sure, I'll throw that on. And then all of a sudden, I remember my mom said, hey, can't get the bagged spinach anymore, and I don't know when we're going to be able to. So back to romaine lettuce and carrots for your salad.
Just as you were venturing into the spinach world, you couldn't eat it anymore. And how about this one in 2009, raw cookie dough? Now we know, they always say you're not supposed to eat raw cookie dough anyways, but how many of us do?
I don't know how many people actually follow that.
Right?
Yeah,
Who
especially
follows
this
that?
time of year. Gingerbread dough.
Oh, I don't know that I've done gingerbread dough raw. I just did it the other night, though. My husband always likes chocolate chip cookies, so we'll put those on. And I think I always have the warning in my mind as I do it. Sometimes I just take a little bit, like a little corner off. That's all I'm going to have. That's all I'm going to have. But then it's so good that you go for more. You go for more.
I agree.
Here's the thing. In 2009, it wasn't the eggs in the raw cookie dough that was a problem. The prime suspect was the flour. But 2009 raw cookie dough, that was one of the worst food recalls in U.S. history. Taking a look back on that.
I'm still going to eat cookie dough.
Me too. Starting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1246.
WTMJ's Greg Mansick here for Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac. Get more of what moves you and drive with confidence this winter in a new all-wheel drive Mazda. Holiday is the destination to get more Mazda for your money, more for your trade, and score enticing offers during the Season to Move You event. Well-qualified buyers can lock in rates as low as 0% on most new Mazda models, like the invigorating Mazda CX-30, the off-road ready Mazda CX-50, roomy and responsive 3-row Mazda CX-90, and more. Plus, score an extra $500 holiday cash on new 2025s on top of their low, simplified price. As a longtime Team Holiday fan myself, I know from experience you'll appreciate their exceptional guest care and fun, simple, pressure-free way of doing things. You'll be in great hands with Wisconsin's #1 Mazda dealer on your side. Treat yourself to a test drive, find yours, and drive it home today from Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac and at holidaymazda.com. It's worth the trip.
Driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal, and a law enforcement officer can tell if you're driving high. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
David Nason here, your trusted Fix-It Show guy, here to give you some essential home maintenance advice. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, cracks in your basement, it's time to call the experts I trust at Accurate Basement Repair. They've fixed many of our listeners' basements, and the results were fantastic. Dry, secure, and peace of mind restored. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. Call them today.
Thanks, David. Accurate Basement Repair. We're not just good, we're accurate.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
New Year's resolution, finally do something about that old garage door. Vince Vitrano for Lifetime Door Company. Time to give the biggest door to your home the look, style, and function it demands. Our holiday guests, first thing they say when they walk in, wow, that new garage door looks really nice. Lifetime also installed a new opener. So quiet, LED lights, camera equipped. You can even run it from an app on your phone. To help fit your budget through January, tell them Vinny sent you. They'll knock 5% off the total purchase on all service and installation. Get started at lifetimedoor.net.
It's Friday, which means it's time for Stories of the Strange on Wisconsin's Midday News.
12:49 on Wisconsin's Midday News. Adam Roberts, Jessica Tighe, preparing to dig into the world of the weird, the stories of the strange, as it were. I will go first, Jessica.
All right, what'd you dig up this time?
So I'm going to start this story by being a little bit of a self-tattle here.
Uh-oh.
So I was the kid who loved the library when I was growing up.
And plain food, we just learned in the segment before.
Eating plain cheese pizza and carrots for dinner.
That was my stepbrother, too. We had to make him buttered noodles every night.
There's always one. You know, I actually had buttered noodles as my requested food for my 12th birthday from my grandma. I can still feel her rolling her eyes at me when she heard that's what I wanted. But I also enjoyed going to the library a lot as a kid. I will admit, though, I was not great about returning my library books on time.
Uh-oh.
If I had $1 for every late book or book I just forgot to return...
You could pay your fees?
Probably. Well, it's good news that I am not alone in this regard. A man from suburban Detroit recently tried to return a very overdue baseball book. How overdue? How about 50 years overdue? His name's Chuck Hildebrandt from Chicago. Was visiting the public library in Warren, Michigan, the suburb of Detroit, where he grew up while he was in town for Thanksgiving. And he had a book called Baseball's Zaniest Stars, which was borrowed from that library in 1974 when he was but a young 13-year-old, as he calls himself, baseball nut. And he says that eventually the book must have just made its way into a box when he was moving from Detroit to Chicago. Then one day earlier this year, he was kind of going through those books in his bookshelf at home and noticed there's a book with a Dewey Decimal System number in it. Now,
where you'd scan it?
Exactly. So if you can't remember or haven't been to a library recently, the Dewey Decimal System, of course, the system that you chart through like the 100s or the nonfictions, the 200s, the 300s, etc. Well, he found the slip of paper indicating the book had been due back on December 4th, 1974. So he went and made his trip to his hometown library, talked with the library director there, who listened to his pitch for forgiveness.
Oh, gosh.
And the answer he received was, hey, man, it's cool. You can keep the book.
Right?
We are good. No fine. So Baseball Zania Star's back on his shelf. Now, in return, he is now trying to raise $4,564 for the group reading his fundamental.
Oh,
that number
that's
very
nice.
specific. He says it roughly calculates to how much a 50-year overdue library fine would be.
Ooh. Okay.
It's a pretty big chunk of change.
I think it's nice that he even went to bring it back.
Of course.
So many people would be like, oh my gosh, how many years ago? We'll just put that one back where I found it.
Sure.
Okay, have you ever done Secret Santa at work?
Oh, yeah.
I've done it quite a few times, but it's been a while. So this one woman gets a Secret Santa gift that is so strange. She actually got HR involved.
Uh-oh.
What? It was basically covered in dust. Listen to what she got. Chocolate with a 2020 expiration date. Well, here's the thing. If I think about opening up my cabinets, I probably have some chocolate in there with an expiration date of 2020.
Oh, yeah.
And I would probably still eat it. I wouldn't give it to somebody.
No,
right?
Not at all.
It also had what she describes as manky old nail polish and coffee pods. Manky old. I know sometimes when nail polish, sometimes it doesn't look bad, but when nail polish gets old, it just is, it goes on and it's kind of more clumpy. It's not as nice. Here's the one that really threw me for a loop. Suspiciously worn socks.
Oh,
socks that somebody had worn. Oh, and they're like white, kind of fuzzy ones, so it makes it even worse. If they were like blue or, I don't know, gray, it'd be different, but they just look like they've been worn white with some color on them. She also said they stink of stale perfume. The socks also stink. Nail polish, she said, it didn't look too bad. That's how I was saying. It doesn't always look bad, but then it actually is. She said, but the lids were covered in dust and just felt dirty. But wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more.
There's more. It gets better. She got some lip balm. It's one that's in a little jar.
Please, no.
The little balm she got had clearly been used because it was full of fingerprints. What?
This is too much.
I know.
I think you're discovering one of my icks is like this, whatever this is oh no.
You never want to use used lip balm. And this is actually funny. I'm gonna kudos to Sandy Max because she was filling in with me yesterday and I was not feeling the best and I didn't wear any makeup because I was just having a rough time, and so I'm like, I just gotta get in and do my job today. Forget the makeup. And so since I didn't bring any makeup with me either to do any touch-ups, I didn't have it. And I just really wanted a little lip balm during the show. And then she was like, I have some lip balm if you want to just kind of like wipe off the top. And I was like, that is so nice, but I'm going to pass. I really appreciate it though. It was a very, very nice move on her part. But that was like an extenuating circumstance. This is a Secret Santa gift with some used lip balm, some dirty old socks, and some chocolate from 2020.
Man, at least go to a Quick Trip and get a gift card. I mean, that's not that difficult to go and just get something. Oh, it'll be clearly like, oh, you thought of this last minute, but at least it's not crusty old socks. Ugh.
That is brutal. So anyways, we don't know exactly what happened. Maybe the person's strapped for cash, but you think you'd opt out or something if that was the case.
Yes.
So not sure what happened there, but glad we didn't get that Secret Santa gift. It's 12:55.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 2. Join John each week as he challenges financial advice you've been given and reaffirms what you know to be true. If your financial plan doesn't include taxes, insurance, estate planning, and investing, it's incomplete and you can't afford to miss out. At Creative Planning, we provide all the expertise, all the advice you need, all in-house. To learn more, visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Just like most cars and trucks can't run without oil, no person can function without food. That's why, through March 1st, the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee is contributing $1 from every oil change to Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has provided more than 2.6 million meals to people in southeast Wisconsin. And now, the need is greater than ever. Find a participating Adam dealer near you at adamm.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
No more time, everybody. Have a fabulous weekend. Local news and spanning the state is up next.
We know what you're thinking, and all we can tell you is to drive careful.
Yep, Wisconsin roads are no joke this time of year, especially when you're driving on old, worn-out tires.
Schedule yourself a tire appointment with Rich Lawns. We carry all sorts of tire brands, including Goodyear,